going on, guys? Welcome back to Tales from the Barrens, number 20.
20.
20. We are here, and this is a goddamn milestone for us over here on Tales because this is, was it 60 shorts?
Yeah, if math know how to do math, then yeah, that's
Yeah,
math.
yeah, if we can math it, yeah.
60, correct.
Before we jump into anything, we just want to let everybody know that Creeporama has hooked us up with a discount code.
They did.
So, if you guys are feeling saucy because they have had banger drop after banger drop after banger drop, and as of this
Bangers and
recording,
mash.
bangers and mash, baby. As of this recording, they just announced their They Live line.
Tasty.
I need it. I need it just like I need that Reber shirt from last week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Reber.
Yeah, dude, they've been putting out some real good designs lately, and I love their tie-dyes, dude.
It's so good. But you can go to Creeporama's website, buy 15 shirts, buy Anna and Dustin one. They'd love it. When you go down to checkout, go to apply discount and put in Barrens 10 to get yourself 10% off your entire purchase.
Hell yeah, man. That's a sweet deal.
Yeah.
10% off? You're not getting that anywhere.
Yeah, especially if you buy that many. Y'all's shirts will probably be free.
Mm-hmm. Just keep
Yeah.
buying, and eventually it'll work itself out, and it'll be free.
Yeah, I'll send you my address. So whoever wants to
keep
do that,
buying. Just keep buying.
Yeah, just DM me. I'll send you my address. It's all good.
Yeah. But we are here for Tales 20. And Dustin, you've just said it the best. We say it every week. This is the most diverse set of shorts
Yes.
that we've brought to the table.
Yes.
And I'm pretty excited to talk about them. And here's a disclaimer now. We walk through the shorts. So if you don't want them spoiled, Dustin will have them linked down in the description below. And you can go watch them, then come back and check out what we think. Because we take each of these shorts to the scare scale. The scare scale is our rating system where we take each letter, and the letter S is a 0 to 1, so on for C through E. Those numbers at the end will come up with a number out of 5 for our rating for each short. So, without further ado, Anna brought a short called Who's There?
Who dare?
Who Dare?
Who dare?
I brought one called Murder Camp. And Dustin brought one called Confined.
Yeah, I did.
And Anna is going to be kicking us off tonight. So, Anna, the floor is yours.
Yes, this is another Alsher short. It was released just a couple of weeks ago, and I think that's why it popped up. It was one of those, we rescheduled our shorts from last week due to technical difficulties, and we decided we're going to pick new ones. And it was the first one that I saw when I got on YouTube. So I watched it, I loved it, and here we are. So we start off with a stepdad and a daughter, and we find out through the short, through conversation, that the dad married the girl's mom, and she has since passed away. She's no longer in the picture. So she doesn't call him dad, she calls him Phil. But they still do have a good relationship considering what happened with the mom. And the daughter's telling her, she's going out to this party and he's giving her a hard time. Oh yeah, if this friend's going, there's going to be a lot of drinking. And sure enough, this friend shows up. Great little moment that made me laugh. Shows up and beats on the window, and she's like, "Yeah, who's ready to get fucked up?" And then sees the dad. She's like, "Oh, hi, Mister. Who's ready to do some homework?" And she just plays it off. I thought it was really really funny. I was really impressed with the acting in this. Some shorts we have to look over some of that, but I felt like everyone in this one was great. And so he ends up, he's telling her, "You're not going to drive." She's like, "That's fine. I'm going with her. It's all going to be good. I promise." So she ends up leaving. He tells her to come home by midnight. He makes him a meal. You can tell he's kind of lonely. And he sits down in his chair to eat. And then he ends up kind of thinking about it and texting her and saying, "If you do end up needing me, just let me know and I'll come get you." And the little text bubbles pop up like she's typing, and then they stop. And he just kind of, and then eats his food and kind of fat naps in his chair. Takes a
Fat naps, dude. He's
doing the dad nap.
Oh,
that's
so
man.
That's so funny because dad sleeps like that, and I took pictures of him the other night because he was asleep and he had like just the way the cats were laying, he had 3 of them around him. So I took pictures and then I sent them to him, and he was like, "I look dead in that picture." I was like, "That's how all dads sleep. You're doing the dad sleep," and he's like this.
Dude, he is zonked out, dude. It's good. That's a fat nap.
So he wakes up to some knocking and he hears the daughter. She's like, "Hey, are you awake? I need you to let me in. I need some help, please." So he's half asleep and he's not really connecting the dots just yet. He makes it down the steps and he looks at the door and he realizes that the door's unlocked in both places. And he notices that, but he still doesn't really think too much of it until the voice outside calls him dad. And that's something that the daughter has not done, even after he married her mom, which he comments on. She's never called him dad. And then the voice says, "Oh, Phil, you're just tired and you're hearing things." So immediately, I don't know if you guys have watched that show From on MGM Plus. So I watched the first 2 seasons. I actually need to watch the 3rd one, but it kind of pissed me off too, to where it's like I need more answers. It's just too ambiguous. But that's kind of the similar thing with that, where there's these creatures that like mimic voices and show up outside, and you think they're your loved one, but they're something else. And so also like what cryptid does that, Dustin?
Skinwalker?
Wendigo.
Wendigo. Okay, that's where my mind was going, but for some reason I felt like that was the safe answer and it wasn't right.
Yeah, it's a Wendigo. Yeah.
And then also like a mimic. I know those things are kind of mentioned in some
Five Nights at Freddy's.
And some kind of fantasy kind of lore, like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yep.
So the voice is still talking to him, and then he's like, "You can't come in." And he's connecting the dots and he's waking up. He opens the little mail slot at the bottom, and he's got a mirror on his porch with the, like where if you're in like for instance in a restaurant in a kitchen, the bumper corners where you can, or the bumper mirrors where you can see them, make sure nobody's coming around the corner. It's one of those things, but it's shining back on the door to where you can see if somebody's there. So he doesn't see anybody. And then he kind of has a reflection of up, like above the door. And we see this like creature, just like a glimpse of it with just weird tentacle things. We don't get enough of a shot of it, but it's like wormy looking, but it's talking like a person. So he rightfully so freaks out. The mail slot slams shut, and then he's getting his gun. He's got a gun in a safe box under the couch. And in that period of time, he's he also gets a text from the daughter, and she's like, "On my way, sorry I'm late, I'm not pregnant, I'll be there soon, not drunk or pregnant." So he's telling her, like, he asked her, "Are you outside right now?" And she goes, "No, 10 minutes away, I'm so sorry." And so that's another reason why he realized that something else is out there. So he's also like calling her, telling her, "Hey, don't come up to the front door. Something's out there and I don't know what it is. Like, just don't do it." So while he's getting the gun out, this creature starts talking as his brother, as his mom, and as his dead wife. And once it's the dead wife, that's when it gets real creepy. And she starts like whispering at the end, and then it's like they scurry off. Then we hear the daughter show up. The friend's dropping her off. You can tell, like, "Bye, thanks for bringing me home." And then she's walking up to the door. We hear her playing the voicemail that he left her. She gets up to the front door, and she's like, I think he's telling her, there's just an exchange. And he's like, "I told you not to come to the front door. I told you there was something out there." And she's like, "There's nothing out here." And then she starts pretending like something's wrong, just being a jokester. And he ends up like freaking out. And he's like, "If that's really you, you can come in. The door's unlocked." And sure enough, she walks right in. But that's the last we see of him. And he's all discombobulated and freaking out. Rightfully so. That would scare the shit out of me. You wake up from a nice fat nap, you got your belly full, and then some fucking creatures outside. What a way to go.
Look, I'll unlock the door. Just let me go back to fucking sleep, okay?
Yeah. Let me just go back to napping.
Jeez.
So she comes in, she's like, oh, golly, Phil, why are you freaking out? Just giving him a hard time. And she ends up hitting something with her foot, and it's the gun. The gun's on the floor. So she's like, Phil? And then we hear a voice. I'm in here, honey. We can only assume it's the creature, that it's inside now. And sure enough, we get like a shot from the window in the kitchen across, and she's in the light in the hallway. And there's a car, I don't know, it might be her friend leaving or just a car going up the road, and it shines through the window, and we see this creature on the ceiling, and its little tentacle like hand goes down and gets on her face and muffles her, and we hear her like as it's zooming at, I'm not doing it again. as we zoom as we zoom out the window onto the street and the credits roll. So I loved this short. This was very fun this week. So let's go over to the scare scale. Story, I'm definitely giving it a 1. It's not anything new, really, but it's a story and an idea that I enjoy. So I'm here for it anytime it kind of pops up. Usually when it does pop up, it's not when I'm expecting it either. So it's familiar, but in a good way. So I gave that a 1. Creature, I gave a 0.752 because I feel like we don't get enough of it. It also wasn't what I was expecting. Not that that's a bad thing. It's something different. But I also feel like the tentacle CGI at the end was a little rough. But it's also a short film, so I can forgive that for the most part. So I give a creature a 0.75. Atmosphere is definitely a 1. The creep factor, being at home where you're supposed to be safe. There's something out your door mimicking your child. That's scary. Fucking scary. So I gave the atmosphere a 1. The runtime, I also gave a 1-2 because it's like right at 10 minutes. We get enough of the backstory and relationship building with the dad and the stepdaughter about what happened and where they're at now and just the kind of relationship they have. We get everything we need, I feel like. So I gave the runtime a 1. And the effects, I give a 0.52 just because, like I said, the tentacle on the little monster isn't that great. But I do think when he's on the door outside, there might be a little like stop motion going on. It seemed kind of glitchy, which not a bad thing, just like in a stop motion way. Which I thought was cool too, ultimately. So I gave the effects a 0.5, and that gives me a 4.25 overall. Nice. Lil D, what about you?
All right. This was a very fun short. I did enjoy this. And Anna, like you, when I was searching for mine, it popped up. I didn't watch it. And I obviously watched it after I saw you added it. But I was like, oh, that's funny. I just saw that one. And now Anna added it to the Discord.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, cool. So with that being said, I will give the story a 1 because, like you, it definitely is familiar, but I enjoyed the storytelling in this a lot. So I have to give it a 1. For the creature, this is where I'm stumped a little bit. I think most of my gripes are probably going to go towards the effects. So that's going to be a lower score than this. I think I'm going to mimic you on that one. Mimic you. And go 0.75 for that. Because the voicing and using all these different characters and fucking with his head and a lot of these other things, I thought there was a lot there, but they probably could have done more somewhere, and I was itching for a little bit more. But it's a short; it's only 10 minutes. I'm gonna leave it there. The atmosphere, yeah, that's gonna be a 1. I mean, if I'm at home and presumably my daughter's coming home and I know she's going to be coming home and then there's like some weird shit happening outside and I'm like half awake, yeah, I'm going to be scared as fuck and I'm going to be like, what's going on? I'm like, let me go get a coffee, wake myself up, you keep talking and then I'll come back and listen eventually. So that's definitely going to be a 1. Runtime, yeah, I'm going to give that a 1 as well. I was debating if I wanted to go 0.75 because I feel like they could have added a little bit more to this to make it feel a little bit more, I don't know, filled out. But I think what they were going for and what they did, they achieved what they were trying to do. And then this is where my lowest score is going to be with the effects. Because this creature, yeah, we get a glimpse of it, but it is CGI and it looks like a Venus flytrap almost. It's like on a wall, and that's like it. So I'm gonna get a 0.25. So that gives me a 4, which is
That's okay.
it's not a bad score.
Nice.
It's
It's
still
good.
solid, yeah.
I definitely do recommend it. I think the way that it's shot it's very beautiful. It's a beautiful short for sure. But Big D, what about you?
So, unlike you two, this one did not pop up on my For You feed. So, I was pretty stoked when this popped up. I totally get the fact that he had questions once the creature started talking to him, because I never called my stepmom mom ever.
Right.
She was always Sandy, never mom.
Sandy Cheeks.
Sandy, she's a piece of shit cheeks. Yes. Anyways,
Yeah, fuck her.
yeah, she's part 4 of
Add
that
to the
wall.
Fuck him. Inducted right now.
So for me, man, the story is a 1, man, because you see this man trying to do what he can do for his stepdaughter, you know, while trying to be a dad, but still trying to let her have her freedom, right? So, but if that fat ass nap he was taking, golly, what was great is he came downstairs, so he has a fat nap room.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. I want it.
Lucky.
He has a fat nap room with just a TV and a chair in it, dude. Like, how fucking cool is that?
Living the high life.
So my story is going to get a 1. It's a really good story. Point A to point B. My creature, I had something else marked down, but as you two were talking about, I kind of changed my creature score, and I'm giving the creature a 1.
Okay.
Because he's standing there at the door talking to his stepdaughter, then talking to his brother, then talking to his mother, then talking to his recently deceased wife. How long has this creature been around for? At least this family.
Oh, fuck. Good point.
Yeah. You know what? Like, there has to be... It can't be extraterrestrial. I feel it's got to be some type of demonic creature.
Yeah.
For it to be able to play like that, you know, but... It had to have been around long enough, because we don't know the time frame of when the mom passed, but the way he acts when he hears her talk, it seems like it's recent. You know, and it's sad because it's tugging on that. That's the string that broke him.
Yeah.
So my creature's a 1 because of what it was willing to do to get this man. Atmosphere is absolutely a 1. Scary as fuck, you know, like him trembling, trying to open up the lockbox, looking out the peephole, looking out the mailbox slot, all that. That's braver than I'd fucking be, dude. Let me ask you this: is there a back door? Because guess where my ass is going?
I think he was alluding to that, to have his daughter go through the back door, right?
I would go out the back door, Dustin. I wouldn't do it. No. Yeah, later. You can have this fucking house. I don't care.
Have the house.
Take
Here's
it.
my mortgage. Take it.
Yeah, you live here now, so that's fine. So atmosphere is absolutely a 1. Runtime. I wanted to see how it got him, because the passage of time we get is that 10-minute lap of her coming home to when she does get home, because she kicks the gun. And while she kicks the gun, that means he's already gone. So I wanted to know what happened. Give me 2 more minutes of this. Show me what happened to him. That'd be pretty rad. My runtime is getting a 0.75. And as for the effects, I'm right there with you, Anna. What they did, they were smart. They shrouded it in dark for as much as they could.
Yeah.
And we only got it wasn't lightning, it was the car passing by. That's the only light source we had. But my effects is a 0.5.
Very nice. For a 4.25.
So 4.25. Nice! So what is our grand total for that bad boy?
A 4.2.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
then.
My happy ass would be out that back door. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'd still be fat napping.
I wouldn't even. Yeah. You have a fucking key. Get in.
Crawl through the window. I don't know.
Golly. All right. We're going to head to murder camp, guys.
Are we? Yay!
Oh, we are.
Is the bus coming to my house, or do I have to go to the bus?
You get to ride the short bus,
Oh,
where the back seat is the front seat, Dustin.
is Tommy there too?
Yep.
Fuck.
Yeah,
All right.
take it. And shaved head Tommy Jarvis as Corey Feldman, not later Tommy Jarvis.
Oh,
Not
fuck.
Jason Lives, Tommy Jarvis. 'Cause
Yeah.
He's a cute in
Yeah,
that one.
Mom,
Yeah.
Dad, I don't want to go to camp no more.
He's gonna shave your head like his.
I don't
Get the
wanna go to
little
camp.
patches of hair.
I don't want to go to camp.
So our short opens up, and it's got to be, what do you think? 19, isn't the 80s, 84, 85? Something like
88.
that. The way it looks. It
No,
has that
it's.
80s.
I think it's more modern time because of what she says later.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sure. Because, I mean, there's no technology in it, so that's the only reason why I was leaning that way.
And he also makes a comment about how, it's like 83. all
Oh,
over
that is correct. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm a big idiot. Take
No,
two.
you're not. No.
Opens up with camp counselors playing beer pong, right? Big chill and having a blast, except for one. She's over there reading and gets her ass called out on it. They're like, hey, are you reading? And she gets up and walks away. She's like, I don't even want to entertain this. Not doing it. It gets followed. I don't even remember this kid's name. Like he just was just being
He's
a
probably
dick.
Kyle.
Dickface McGraw.
Yeah, his name's Chad or something.
Yeah.
He goes, hey, want to make out? And she doesn't even look at him. He goes, wait a minute, hold on. He takes two, takes his shirt off. And he goes, you want to make out now? And she goes, okay, for 20 minutes. And she goes, but I'm not getting naked. And he's like, over the bra under the shirt. And she's like, yeah. And he goes, score, dude. And you hear it. You hear the eerie ass music as it pans out the window and follows the side of the building. And then you see a machete come into frame. And then the hand. And then you get the full body. And he walks up to the door. Then he feels like he's being watched. Because you see his posture straighten up. And he looks up. And there's a scarecrow monster up there on the ceiling. Or on the roof. And they kind of do like the head nod at each other, like the degrees, whatever. And then our first monster takes his mask off. He goes, what are you doing here? Dude. And the fucking scarecrow goes, it's my night. And the first monster with the gas mask goes, no, it's not, dude. It's my night. He goes, get down here so we can look. And the scarecrow monster pops up behind him. He goes, I am down here.
Yeah.
It scares the shit out of him, dude. Then they compare schedules, taking their masks off and everything. They're just two normal fucking dudes. Take their masks off. They look at schedules because the Scarecrow Man was supposed to be here for the Crow's Solstice, and he's in our gas mask guy is like, no, that's like in 3 fucking weeks, dude. Like this is my night. It's the third Saturday of the month with the full moon. It's my night. They have a little schedule book that they have everything written down in. Scarecrow guy realizes he fucked up. He's like, fuck, dude, fuck. And they're getting mad. Then we learn his name is Greg. We know that because he gets so pissy with our gas mask guy, which we learn his name is Kevin. So I'm going to call him that from now on so I don't get confused. Greg's giving Kevin shit. And he's like, look, I just don't think this is, this is for me. And dude, Kevin goes, Gregory Grittiford or whatever his full fucking name is. And he straightens up, dude, because he gets called by his first and last name. And he goes, there's got to be something else going on here. You are not telling me the truth. And Greg goes, all right, I'll tell you, but you can't give me the business. He's like, I won't give you the business. He goes, pinky swear. Pinky swear. And he goes, stamp it. And it zooms in on their hand, stamping the fucking pinky swear, dude. It's like they have a secret handshake, man. Finds out that Gregory might have a new final girl. Kevin's like, what makes her any different than, she reminds you of Tabitha? The girl that left you for dead in the cornfields? He goes, "You're gonna shuck her body and use her skin as a scarecrow." Dude.
Yeah.
The fact that they are these real life monsters, like our Kevin, our gas mask guy, what did he do? He took the virginity of some gypsy woman's daughter, and she cursed him to have this life. And our scarecrow guy is he's a pagan deity's like right hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what he sacrifices all these people to, is this pagan god that is the crow god. And they're going back and forth, dude. And he's like, "Fuck this. You never supported me and all this and that." And then we hear a familiar voice come out. And it's Girl from beginning of the short who wants to make out with Hunky Boy, saying, "You know what? Gregory," he goes, "Greg's fine." Then they try to kill her. And she's like, "Oh, no. I side with you, but I understand you. But over here, Kevin has attachment issues." They're like, "Oh, yeah, well, how do you know that?" She goes, "I'm a psych major." Dude, they sit down and have a session.
Mm-hmm.
They sit down, and Kevin's just sitting there all pissed off like this, and Greg's just... And they dig deep. They dig fucking deep in it. And he's like, "You have attachment issues because you don't want to see your friend go down this path that you're not going down." So on and so forth, to the point where Kevin gets up in a fit of rage, walks over to that tree over there, and starts crying. He just starts fucking crying, dude. And that's when I remember our counselor's like, go fucking help your friend. He walks up to him and goes, "Shh." Puts his hand on his lips to shush him. Dude, and they're having a sweet moment, confining in each other. Then you hear, "Blow, blow." They both drop. And our counselor turns around, and you got Hunky Boy back there with a double barrel shotgun, 12 gauge. He goes, "I've never shot a gun like this. I've never shot a gun. It's so hot. I'm turned on. Get over here and let's have sex." And she goes, "No." And she chops him with the machete. Dude, and she goes to town. She goes, "You're not going to be nothing but a second string lacrosse player that'll go to college and get an essay charge on some girl and get acquitted and all this and that," chopping the man to pieces. And she's covered in blood, dude. And then by the time she's done, they come to behind her because, they're undead. And they're like, "What happened?" And she whips around. She goes, "Do you guys feel like this all the time?" And they're like, "Yeah." She goes, "That was awesome. Let's go get the rest of the counselors." And Kevin's like, "Fuck yeah, dude. This chick rules." And she turns around and she goes, "What did you just call me?" And he goes, "Fuck yeah, man. This highly educated woman with the big brain rules." And she goes, "That's what I thought, you little bitches. Now let's go." And her and Kevin take off, and you have Greg going, "Guys, wait for me, man." And he picks up his fucking sickle, and then you start hearing camp counselors getting brutally murdered. And that's the end of the short. So let's head to the scare scale. This story is a 1 for me, man. I love the dupe. I love the fact that it reminds me so much of Leslie Vernon, because it's an industry to these guys. It's a fucking job, dude. It's fun. And then the interactions between them are great. And then this counselor, counseling them, pretty fucking good, dude.
Get out of here.
The creatures, I'm giving a 0.75 to because they look cool. Scarecrows are my favorite monsters, period. So getting to see somebody portray a scarecrow is always exciting to me. The atmosphere is a 1 because, they're at this camp and you feel it the whole time. You feel like you're outside. You can smell the leaves, the campfire, all this and that.
S'mores.
How can I have s'more of anything if I haven't eaten anything? This one was about 15 minutes for the runtime. I wasn't mad at any of it. I think it told just enough story from point A to point B without having to take anything away or add to it. And that's going to be a 1. Now, the effects. Their costumes look cool. the makeup underneath the costume, especially Kevin's, like his like rotting flesh looked really cool. When she gets splattered with blood was really rad. That's going to be a 0.75 for me for there. So that gives me a 4 point. Is that a 4.5?
Yes, sorry, I didn't realize you were talking to me. Yeah,
Oh,
4.5.
I was thinking out loud. It gives me a 4.5
He's mathing.
for this short. Anna,
Yeah.
let's head to you. What did you think of Murder Camp?
Yeah, this was fun. The story's getting a 1 because I got duped at the beginning. I was like, I already knew what we were going into. You know, we see the counselors, we see the setup. Anybody who watches horror movies knows this formula. But then once we see the guy outside, I was like, okay. But then when I see him look up and I see another guy, I was like, oh, this is going to be like Halloween and all these people are in this forest or something and they can only come out. You know, I was just spinning. And then they're like, what are you doing? It's my night. I was like, oh, here we go. It was totally not what I was expecting and went down a road that I wasn't expecting. And I really appreciate it for that. And it was actually funny. And it was also, like you said, it reminded me a lot of Leslie Vernon too. It was very meta and like kind of commenting on itself a little bit if you know the genre. And I loved when she came in and was like, oh no, I'm a psych major. These are two like lifelong friends who obviously have some issues. Let's help them work it out. And ultimately she kind of ends up finding her own power in the end herself, even if
I'm
it
a
is
fucking fire phoenix.
yeah. Even if it's murdering or other camp counselors, meh, for the sake of the short, so be it. Creature is getting a 1 because I loved these guys, even if they were murderers. Just the dialogue between them, you felt like they were friends. I loved the acting, even with our girl, because she kind of ends up becoming a creature in the end. Like all that feminine rage with modern society, like kind of
Sure.
coming out and becoming unleashed, and then it's ultimately kind of how serial killers are born. So there you go. Atmosphere is also 1. Like Dustin said, you feel it. You know you're at summer camp. Like I said, if you're a genre fan, you know the formula, and that's always like a cozy, welcome feeling for me, anyways. So that gets a 1. Runtime, I too am not mad at it. It needed it, honestly, so we could get the gist of their friendship, and we needed that like drama kind of situation between them for the short to work. So that gets a 1. And effects are also getting a 1 because this is a 5 fucking banger.
Let's
Wow.
fucking go.
Wow.
I had so much fun. We even get a shot too of like of after she's hacked him up, like an above shot. It's pretty quick, but we still see it. And yeah, just the feel of it. You know, less is more sometimes. That's probably makeup they got at the store and did themselves, and it looks great. The blood splashing up. I loved it. It was fast. This is a 5 banger. I had a blast.
Fuck yeah, dude. Like the amount of blood too. It's like somebody was like laying down, throwing up a bucket.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It was awesome.
But it worked with the comedy too because of what we've
Sure.
already laughed at. I was like, you know, it just
Yeah,
worked.
the tone. Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Little D, how did you feel about Camp Murder?
All right, so I did enjoy this one, but I don't know if I enjoyed it as much as the both of you did. So let's just dive into it. Story, it did remind me a lot of Leslie. It did. There's parts of it I was just like, I'm not really feeling it too much. So as much as it was still I feel like a good story and it was original in its way, I'm gonna give it a 0.75. For the creatures, yeah, the designs are really cool and they're, setting up like their backstories and everything. I just feel like I I wanted more. I don't know exactly what more I wanted, but there was a part of me that's just like, I need something else in here to keep my attention really on this. So I'm also gonna give that a 0.75. For the atmosphere, I definitely agree. Like, you definitely feel like you're at summer camp. Like you said, we've seen these movies before, like um, Friday the 13th and movies of the like. You definitely feel that. So that's going to be 1. Runtime, since I was kind of struggling staying onto this one and like really wanted to be in the story, to me, I feel like it was too long. And to you guys, you enjoyed it, and that's great. But for me, I was like, I probably could have done with less. So it's going to be a 0.5. And for the effects, it was very minimal, but what they were doing in the short, the whole short in itself was minimal. So I felt like it's deserved of a 1 because of the style that they had already going in. I feel like if they went over the top in anything, it would have really probably taken me out even more. But regardless, I did enjoy this one. I don't know if I would ever go back and watch it again if I was going to go through these shorts. But that still leaves me with a 4 out of 5. You know, it's still
Oh, yeah.
solid.
Yeah, that's
But
solid.
there was just, I don't know, there's something about it. I was just like, it's fun, but I don't know. I was kind of drifting in and out of this one, and maybe because it was too dialogue heavy, that probably could have been what it was.
Oh, did you watch the short I picked for the robot? Did you watch Abe?
I did.
Talk about dialogue heavy fucking short.
Yes,
but it's good.
That's got a totally different score, and we'll get to that eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
But yeah. So
Anna, what's our grand total for that one?
4.5.
Yeah, boy.
all right, there you go.
All right, little D, bring us home with.
All right, so I gotta line this. I gotta line this one up because I know you guys are probably saw this and you're like, that fucking runtime? Are you kidding me? So hear me out. This is a Silent Hill inspired short, and I love Silent Hill so much. I just finished playing Silent Hill 2 remake, so I was like, I wonder if anybody had made any shorts inspired by the games or the movies, and there were a lot, and a lot of them were very not great. So I found this one, and it's called Confined, and they list it as like a COVID-19 slash Silent Hill inspired short. And I feel like that lines up pretty well. I think that's great. I mean, obviously we went through COVID, right? And it's like outside did feel like fucking Silent Hill. You know, there was nothing out there. So let's dive into this one because there's a lot, and a lot of things go by quickly. I will say this is a 19-minute short, but like the last like 2 minutes are like credits, so it's really like a 16, 17-minute short. But regardless, so we are in an apartment with a guy. He's got his TV on. He's talking about the outbreak and how things are locking down, blah blah blah. And he's sitting down eating his meal, and then he's trying to eat his meal, and he looks up, and the ceiling is cracked. At first, I thought the guy was doing a little salt on his
salt poppy.
little salt on his meat there, but nope, it was ceiling dust.
Salt on his meat.
Don't you hate when you get some ceiling dust on your food?
On your
Damn.
meat?
On your meat. So he's calling around, and I guess he's calling maybe his landlord or whatever kind of building he's in. Like, hey, I got a crack in the ceiling. When can this be sorted out? This is during COVID, so obviously they're like, we get to it whenever we can because of regulations, lockdowns, whatever it may be. And things just kind of kept going worse and worse for him. He starts having these dreams, and we start hearing about this girlfriend, we presume, Emily. And he's now having his nightmares, and each day he's on his phone, is logging his days, like saying this nightmares are like getting worse, blah blah blah. And he has a dream where he's outside, and it says a sign that says like she is not here, and it's like, oh, okay, we're outside now. We're no longer in his apartment. How is this going to be? In my brain, I'm like, okay, so this is where Silent Hill's got to shine. We got to see where this inspiration is going from and where he's filming this. So he's going around. Everything's completely empty. He's like knocking on doors. There's like noises outside. And he's just walking around. And then we hear the bell. Everybody knows that bell. Dun, dun, dun. And then he wakes up. Oh, wow. What the hell? That was weird. And furthermore, he keeps going and going and get more little instances of Emily and then him. He's even like logging on himself, like what day it is. Then he starts getting like bruises and stuff on him. And then he hears a very loud bang, and everything in his apartment is kind of like shifts. and he goes into his bathroom, which I thought was really cool. They showed like spots of things being tipped over and just how things were mismanaged. It really makes you feel like you're kind of in like a fever dream in some sort of way. And he sees this gigantic hole in the wall, and it says check in. And once again, he's drifting off into sleep, and he presumably goes through this hole, and it goes to a hotel. And it's him sitting next to flowers that are, I feel like, freshly picked, just sitting there. And you see kind of just him sitting in a chair, just from a viewpoint, not full on. And there's conversations between him and Emily, and she's saying how she may not have a job anymore, and he's getting kind of mad at her for not spending time with him. And she's saying, "Why are you so selfish when there's people dying?" And she's like, "This, my work's about to be turned into a hospital, so I don't know what's going to happen." And as they're talking, the flowers start to wilt, and that's really really cool. And then he wakes up again to like himself. He sees a reflection of himself as like a monster, and he's still having like these conversations on his phone between him and Emily, and how you can tell that this relationship is very rocky. You know, it's kind of abusive in a way, more verbally abusive than anything on his end, not so much her. And as he's starting to realize in himself in a way by looking at himself as a monster, it starts to fade away. And then we get towards the very last shot, where I guess in a way you can say maybe it was like the last interaction before they had to separate due to COVID or whatever happened with them. But it's him essentially apologizing to her and be like, it was like never really your fault. It was me being this way. She's like, well, I'm always going to hold on to that. And that's pretty much our short in a nutshell. Like there's a lot in this that happens, so I'm trying to pick little pieces on it. But if anybody has played Silent Hill, even watched the movies or anything, you can kind of get the gist of it. So let's go right on over to our scare scale. And like I said, I was going through a lot of Silent Hill shorts, and I found this one, and I really dug this one. And I know it's not going to be for everybody. I know that for a fact. But for me, who is a diehard Silent Hill fan, I think the story of this one, with it pulling in real world elements and also different pieces from the games, especially more Silent Hill 2 with like the signs and stuff, I really dug this. So I'm going to give that a 1. I thought they did a really good job of figuring all this out. And this creature, there's not really much of a creature, unless we're going to keep it on a Silent Hill point. It's always your dude that you're controlling is usually the creature, and it's like his world and his hell that he has to kind of deal with. But I'm going to give it a 0.25 just because there's really not much other than the last shot of him seeing himself as a monster. The atmosphere, I dug this a lot. This really made me feel like I was watching a Silent Hill movie or playing a game. So that's going to be a 1 for me. Runtime, definitely probably could have been knocked down a bit. You guys know my saying is if it's over 15 minutes, it's going to be really, really fucking good. And this one was really good, but it's not to that tier I want it to be.
It's not really fucking good.
No, it's just really good.
It's just really good.
So
there's no facts in it.
No, not at all. So I'm going to give that a 0.75. It's still good, but they definitely could have trimmed down. The effects, though, this is where I think it shines a lot. With the visual effects, practical effects, shooting outside, all these different ways of doing it, like holes in the wall, with using like CGI, whatever they had to do for things like that, like the little crack in the wall with the ceiling dust going on his meat. It's great. I'm going to give it a 1. I thought that they nailed a lot of the stuff to make it feel like a Silent Hill-esque environment and feeling. So that's going to leave me with a 4.
Wow.
Let's see. Who do I want to go to? Because I know this isn't for everybody. I think I'm going to go to Anna because I'm interested to see how she feels. So, Anna, give it to me straight.
Oh, I fucking hated this short. I'm sorry.
No, that's completely fine.
Because it's like, because what I see when I open up the short, it's like, first thing, I'm not even reading Silent Hill. I'm reading COVID-19 inspired short. And I'm like, So right off the bat, I'm like, fuck this already. Just because I lived it. I'm sure people who live through wars and other things of that nature don't like to watch that kind of stuff too. For me, it's COVID inspired things. I could give two fucks. The only thing I have watched that was anything COVID, I guess, themed is Host. That shit freaked me the fuck out.
Have you seen Sick
I
on
have.
Hulu?
That was it was okay.
It was
okay.
all right. Yeah, it was all right for sure. But yeah, it's literally a product of its time.
But
Yeah.
like but just like that stink on it, just kind of takes me out of it a little bit. If you take that off of that Sick story, it could still be a story, on itself. It could be kind of more of I know what you did last summer kind of thing, I guess. But anyways, so yeah, the story I'm giving a 0.25 to, just because I'm just not a fan of the COVID inspired stuff, but also like this is more of a visual story than necessarily a dialogue heavy story. And that's okay sometimes. But I just got through watching Mad Max, and there's like 2 paragraphs said in the whole movie. And that's visual storytelling.
Yeah.
So yeah, 0.25 there. And then the creature, I gave a 0.25 to as well, just because I guess he was seeing himself as the creature, and I guess you could look at the pandemic as a creature. I just didn't get enough from it, and I wasn't really a fan of the guy, the actor, and I know that's bad to say, but he just wasn't selling me on it because he didn't seem like, I don't know, just the character he was playing in all the shots, and then we were getting the voiceovers of the calls that they're having together, and he's calling her a fucking selfish bitch and all this stuff, and I'm like, that just seems really forced. You know what I mean? Atmosphere, I'm giving a 0.5 to, just because I mean, a lot of it just is, it's like a fever dream. And I mean, yeah, we get a couple of shots of him outside when nobody's there, and some fog, but that's not really anything that
The fog.
and I guess I should also say that I've never played the Silent Hill games, and I'm not, like, I think I watched the movie one time when it came out years ago. So like, I'm also not on that level either.
Sure.
To where I like, I seek out that kind of stuff am familiar with it. Runtime is definitely a 0.25 because for me, I was like, golly, almost 20 minutes. And I know the credits are toward the end, but still, with it being that much visual storytelling and some of it not being like a straightforward kind of story, just didn't nail it for me with the time length. And the effects, the effects are the strongest part of this short, in my opinion. So I did give the effects a 0.75, which gives me a 2 out of 5.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's fine.
Apologies.
No, you don't have to apologize at all. Big duh.
All right, so I was just looking up the kid that's in this. I feel like he has to have something to do with the studio. Like, he has to be like the director or something. Like,
I thought that
The main
too.
guy?
Yeah,
He was a writer.
Yeah, he's the
Writer
writer.
and director.
Okay. So I figured he played a bigger role in it than just the actual role.
Yeah.
But for me, man, like, where was the Silent Hill in this?
Oh, you didn't feel it?
Not at all, dude. Like, I did not. Other than the fog. I mean, that's really
The
it.
fog.
I don't know, dude. Like, this story was
sexy nurses.
None with their titties out and their face bandage up.
that would have made it more appealing.
That's what I'm saying. Where's Pyramid Head?
Give me
Or
some
try.
tits.
Yeah, give me some triangle tids. Triangle tid head. Yeah. But no, man. Like, I went into this open minded. You know, I did see the COVID-19 / Silent Hills. I was like, I wonder how they're gonna do this. But the story is so everywhere. It's hard to pay attention to. So my story is going to be a 0.5.
Okay.
Creature, that's a fat 0. That is a fat 0, dude. Because when you tell me Silent Hill, I want to see something that's like Silent Hill, not just fog. But I also understand this has to have been a very, very low budget short because it looks low budget, which is fine. It is totally fine looking indie. I'm totally cool with that. Like we've seen some highly produced short films, and we've seen somebody use their fucking flip phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't matter what you use; it's just how it's executed. Atmosphere. About 75% of the short is a close up of this kid's face.
You're not wrong.
I mean, like, I don't know, dude. Like, I just didn't feel immersed. Like Anna said, we lived it. We were trapped in it. I've had COVID 4 times.
Fuck, dude. Just recently, too.
Just
Yes.
recently.
Yeah.
But that's because I started working back at the cesspool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we lived it, you know? And this dude in isolation, I understand that. But it's a 0.25. Runtime. This is a long fucking short for nothing to make sense in, dude. Like, I tried. I watched it twice. I wanted to make sure I didn't. I wanted to make. I watched it twice. I wanted to make sure I'm giving it the fair chance.
Mm.
No, I wouldn't do that for heck.
Oh man.
So that's already saying a lot, dude. But my runtime's a 0.25. This easily could have had like 6 minutes shaved off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Easily. It
I
could have been a 13 minute short. And the effects, I did like a lot of the lens flaring they did, a lot of the like the scenic views, and the when he sees himself as like when he's having that nightmare about himself. I liked how he looked there too. So that's a 0.5 for me as well. So that gives me a 1.5 for the short.
Oh yeah. Man,
It
I
is-
love
gives us a
bringing
that's
super
2.5
diverse
overall.
things.
2.5.
Yeah,
Which
you
is
do. That's
fine.
like your MO.
It is.
Which is fine, but if you're gonna tell me Silent Hill, give me something.
There was
like
one I saw, but I was like, oh, this is literally just the game. Like someone literally did like a 20-minute Silent Hill 2 short, and I was like, oh, I wasn't gonna do that, but I was like, no, I want something a little bit more original.
Anna. What does that give us for tonight's Tales episodes total?
3.7.
Oh, all right, not too
Okay.
bad.
Alrighty then.
Not too bad. Dustin, what order would you watch these shorts in?
I'd get mine out of the way. Totally get mine out of the way. And then I'd probably do your short, and then I'd end it with Anna's.
All right, Anna, what about you?
Definitely confined. Get it out of the way. And then I'll go Who's There and then Murder Camp and always end with the laughs.
Yeah, I would do the same way. I would do that same way. I would get confined out of. Don't even press play on that
Do you
bad
want to
boy.
be confined?
Take you a quick cat nap. Not a fat
That's
nap,
what-
a cat
hey.
nap.
Not this.
Whoa.
Not the dad sleep.
Nope. Just one of these.
Mm.
Yeah.
But no, solid short films for tonight, guys. 20. You know, like this whole idea of this show came about when I was like, hey, let's just talk about short films. Let's try and do something. And collectively, we're like, this is how the formula's going to be. And 20 episodes later, the people we've met, the events we've gone to, the connections we've made has just been unbelievable. And it's just going to continue to grow through this series.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty sick.
I love this series so much. When she brought that up and we started diving into it, obviously the first couple episodes were a bit rough because we're still figuring everything out. But we got it nailed down now, and I love everything that we bring every week, whether it's something we all enjoy or some of us enjoy. It's great. I think being able to showcase
or this one. Or Confined.
just being able to showcase people's work, not just of these bigger movies, of these bigger directors that we know of, like literally unknown people, is great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
Anna, what do you guys got cooking over on Give Me Back My Action and Horror Movies?
Well, it's the
Healing
month of
dust.
action. Yeah, it's no, not over there.
Not over
we
there.
just we just moved into a new building. We're moving up, moving on up. We are into the month of action. This week was Mad Max Fury Road. We had Nate on with us. The band was back together for the week. It was nice to have him on with us for it. And we've kicked off month of action over here too. with Deep Blue Sea the start of the week. So us and
Bingo.
us and all of our shows and our little community are all full steam ahead into month of action.
Choo
Oh, yeah.
choo.
If you guys are interested on who is participating, when you see us post art, it's going to have a double-headed eagle on it. Everybody whose art includes that is everyone who's participating. And there's upwards to 17 different artists. I'm calling them artists because they're not all shows.
Right.
That's
that are
awesome.
participating. It's fucking great, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a spectacle. So over on Flicks and Friends, we will have just put out the letter X for X2, and that will have included everybody from Give Me Back My Action and Horror movies, including little Nate from Charles Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. He came over on your short bus, Dustin, and joined us for the evening. So that's a ton of fun. And over on B Action, we will have put out our episode for Iron Eagle, and then after this episode drops, we'll have an episode called The Hitman with Chuck Norris in it.
Good old
Talk
Chuck.
about, dude, don't fuck with Chuck, dude. He lets you
Don't
know
fuck
in that
with
movie.
Chuck.
Little D, what do we gotta do to get out of here, man?
Well, I always like to thank everybody for tuning in for all these episodes. Like we were saying earlier, this is 20. We just hit our 60 mark of all the short films we've seen on YouTube, or even ones that are in the festival circuit. It's great to be able to see some of these that aren't even out yet, and these connections that we've been creating. And we like to always say this, if you do have any shorts out there, make sure you are emailing it to us, or you can DM us. The email is the bhopodcast@gmail.com, or on Instagram, go ahead and just DM whatever short you have. We want to watch it. Even if doesn't get on the show, we want to watch it. I love checking out these shorts. And I want to tease what we got going on next week for our month of action, and it is The Terminator.
That's
Dun,
not a
dun,
tease.
dun,
You
dun.
told them what it was. That's not a tease.
It's a tease.
Oh, okay.
The Terminator.
I'll be back.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'll be back. So I'm really, really amped for that. I know you guys are too, and a lot of the other things we have lined up for this month is crazy, and it's so fun. But as always, if you guys are listening on audio platforms, make sure you're rating, liking, commenting, and sharing. Same on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe, comment, share. All that stuff helps us a lot, and we like to see the interaction, and we message all of the comments, unless you're a certain somebody I'm not going to name. We love reading everything you guys send to us and seeing that a lot of these episodes mean to you, whether it's a movie we're covering that you haven't seen anybody else cover in a while, or you just found a movie that you now really, really love that we've covered. It's always great to see that. So if you want to go above and beyond, you can go right over to our Patreon for $2 a month.
$2, Bob.
You guys get all of our episodes up to a week early. So if you want to go above and beyond and support us that way, we appreciate it. And I think we'll let everybody off the hook on this one. And we'll see you next week while we're hunting you down and trying to kill you because you did something to us in the future. And we will be back.
Bye.
Later.